Yo, what's going on, YouTube? And welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy Kevin Forte, and we are taking a look today at the Carolina Hurricanes as we continue our season prediction series videos. We're taking a look down in Raleigh, North Carolina at the Hurricanes. So it's been a pretty interesting offseason for the Hurricanes. It's the way Tom Dundon and Don Waddell kind of manage this team is kind of interesting. They're not afraid to let guys go for free agency, but they also bring guys back in to replace them and maybe, if not even make the roster better. So we're going to take a look at that. So obviously the most recent news, which I'm posting a video about at the making of this video, I'm posting it tomorrow. You guys will check that out already if you want to. Marty Necas is re-signed, so that's huge for the Hurricanes. I was kind of waiting on that one, so that one is officially in the books. So Marty Necas comes back. They've also brought in a couple of defensemen, Jalen Chatfield, Dylan Coghlan via trade, as well as Brent Burns. Brent Burns is the big addition to that blue line, and he's kind of sort of the replacement to Tony DeAngelo, who is now up in Philadelphia. So a really good move there. I think Burns is a great addition there. He's, in terms of his average ice time per season, I think he's got one of the best in the league in terms of defensemen. So Brent Burns can still play, and not to mention that, that crazy animal-like beard is also making its way down there. Not to mention the man bun, which got to give props to him there. So that's what the blue line looks like. Their forward group, not too much change here. Lane Peterson comes in from the San Jose Sharks, and Max Pacioretty. Max Pacioretty is a really good addition to this team. I know. Before you guys run off in the comments, Max Pacioretty is going to be out for the next 4 to 6 months. I know that. He's on the injured reserve. He will not start the season with the Hurricanes, which is tough. That's a tough loss. But again, when you look at this season for the Carolina Hurricanes, it kind of exemplifies this season, is this Max Pacioretty situation. Get through the first half of the season, go on a good run in the second half, kind of like you did last year, and kind of run the tables again. See what you can do next season in the playoffs, because that's ultimately what this is. The two moves they made, Burns and Pacioretty, are not going to make you better long term. That's not what that's about. This is cup or bust right now for the Hurricanes, and I think that they realize that. They see the opportunity here. They've got a great goalie tandem, and both those guys returning, Antti Raanta and Freddie Anderson. It's a no-brainer here for the Hurricanes. They have got to win now. And again, in a division that's kind of been beating itself up a little bit with the Rangers and the Penguins and the Capitals and the Islanders, and you could maybe argue Columbus, Carolina, I would say, is the premier team in that division still. So with that said, looking at their goals for and goals against last season, they were 9th in the NHL for goals for last season, so top 10. Really good in terms of that. They can score goals, and I'll get to that more in a second. And their goals against was first in the league. Again, I would argue, looking on paper, those 6 defensemen, probably the best defense in the league. Maybe other than Tampa Bay, because we know how good Tampa is. They probably have the second best defense in the league last season. And not to mention their goalie tandem, again, is at the very least top 5 in the NHL with Raanta and Anderson. And that's kind of what I want to get to next, is these two key factors next season for the Hurricanes. The first one, can Raanta and Anderson stay healthy? Because that was a problem for them at the end. And, Peter Kochev, I think that's his name, I saw his first NHL start against the New York Islanders. Well, it wasn't a start. He kind of came in when Raanta got hurt. But it's just one of those things where it just seems like those guys are made out of glass. And I remember that when Raanta got hurt in the Islander game, it was like a deflection. He moved his leg the wrong way, and he just got hurt. Like, I don't know what that is. That might have been I think he already had a lingering injury. But I was right behind him, and I was like, ooh, that should not be happening this point in the season. That is a guy that's already beat up from the grind of this season. And, that is something I worry about. Same thing for Freddie. Freddie Anderson, that was tough. I think they would have done better against the Rangers had they had healthy goaltending. And again, you hate to make excuses up and whatever, but, that was a critical part of the Hurricanes last season, is those two guys, and neither one of them were healthy. It was a tough stretch for them. So that's the first thing. They need healthy goaltending in the springtime. The second thing is, and I hate to do this because I like Aho, I like Svechnikov, I like Natchez. You need those guys to produce a little more in the big clutch games, and that didn't happen enough. Especially in that Rangers series, they kind of got shut down. Svechnikov, Aho, and Natchez Natchez might have been the best player in that series in terms of production. So that's why when I look at the Hurricanes here, it seems like a missed opportunity last year because of just things not going their way, and I just worry if that will happen this year or they'll finally get the bounces their way where everybody stays healthy and they get the scoring from those top guys. Because that is the criticism of the Hurricanes, is your core guys, can they score in the big moments? Can Aho score in the big moments? Svechnikov? Because at the end of the day, that is your team. Those are the guys that need to produce. And yes, Barry Kotkaniemi, he had some great games last season during the regular season. But when it comes to playoffs, I think the Hurricanes need a little bit more offense. They've got the defense thing down good. They've got a great blue line there. Goaltending is great as well. But can they get that scoring when they need it? And that's really where I'm at with the Hurricanes. I absolutely have them number one in the Metropolitan Division. Again, unless some crazy thing happens here, I think Carolina is the top dog in the Metro next season. But with that said, come playoff time, it's until you break that narrative, it's always going to be lying there. And I'd like to think that this is the season Carolina, at the very least, gets to the Eastern Conference Final, maybe even the Stanley Cup Final. But I think it's going to be tough. Again, it's going to be a grind in that Metro division, especially if you have to play at least two of them in the first two rounds. Yikes, that might be a real grind by the time you even get to the conference finals. So let me know what you guys think down below. What do you guys think of the Carolina Hurricanes? Do you think they make the playoffs next year? Do you think they finish first in that division? Let me know what you guys think. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again next time.